Hey guys, welcome back to the Clarity Room podcast. So today is episode 3, and it is basically going to be all about navigating my 20s using the Let Them theory, the book, and the concept by Mel Robbins. If you're new here or if you know me already, my name is Aline Claire. I'm 23 now, and this is my podcast. So thank you so much for being here, and basically, let's get into it. Welcome to the Clarity Room podcast, the space for real talk, mindset shifts, and digital business growth. I'm your host, Aline Claire, an entrepreneur and a digital mentor, and I'm currently navigating the ups and downs of being in my 20s. I'm also currently building an online business and trying to build my dream life on my own terms. This is a safe space to build clarity in your life, grow your confidence, and take action towards your dreams. And hey, it's not always formal and serious. You'll also find some fun and lighthearted episodes along the way. So let's dive in. So I just want to say that I love this book so much. It came out in 2024 last year, and I was part of the group that discovered this book when it blew up on TikTok. So it literally changed my life. I went to listen to it on Spotify with her full episode. And of course, I had to watch all of the TikToks made by everybody just to see how people really put this concept into their own lives. So basically, I wanted to talk in this episode about how I use it to navigate through my 20s and especially what it taught me this year. So I went through a lot this year personally. And that is one of the main reasons why I wanted to start a podcast. I just wanted to be real, raw, and authentic about what I'm dealing with and how I'm navigating my 20s. I'm also an online digital business owner, so I want to be able to talk about how I'm navigating through that as well in terms of like mindset, strategy, and also just like trying to have a social life in general. I also work full time. I work 4 nights as a lab technician instead of 5 now. So I have this podcast as my new side project. So I'm super excited to be here. And yeah, just stay tuned and I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Also, if you're watching the full video on YouTube, you might see me glance at my laptop screen, and that is because I have all my notes here. I won't be going through all of the chapters, but I'm basically just picking out some main things that I've loved about this book, and I'm sure in the future I'll talk about other concepts that I've learned in the book as well. But basically, I won't be covering everything today. Otherwise, I'm going to be sitting here yapping for the next few hours. But these are just the highlights that have stood out for me. So I think the very first thing is just when I first started listening to this concept and reading the book, I think it really validated what I was going through in terms of like mindset stuff and also friendship stuff. And the concept let them has always been in my mind. Like my mum has mentioned it to me when I was little, but also my partner has always said, let people do their thing. And I think the biggest thing for me is because I'm a recovering people pleaser and I always want to be there for people. So if people don't like me or if people judge me as well, I always used to care about what other people think. But the truth is you can't control other people's opinions, other people judging you, and also other people not supporting what you do in your life. And the biggest thing is if you have like a vision or if you have goals or if you have specific beliefs that people don't understand, that's okay because the right people will eventually find you. And for me right now is like starting this podcast. A lot of like my real friends do support me and like all my posts, comment on my posts and share it as well. And that's how you know they're your real friends because they're actually there to support you. But there'll be people who just see it and don't show their support. And again, that's okay because this podcast will find the right people. And the people that I want to find this podcast are people who actually want to listen to what I have to say, people who are navigating through their 20s as well, who are going through the same things as me. And that is one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to start this podcast in the first place. So I used to waste a lot of energy on things that I can't control, and Mel really taps into this in the first chapter. When we try to manage other people and what they do, I think this just wastes a lot of our time and a lot of not only our energy, but like the peace that we have as well. Because what I've learned, especially in 2025, is that you can't control what people do and you can't control what people say. And this has been the biggest thing for me in business as well, because if you listen to my episode 2, I did an episode episode on why I started an online business at 21. And it's because I wanted to have a side hustle and build something that I could have for the long term run, but also because I didn't want to work for someone else until I was 65. And a lot of my real friends, like I said earlier, really, really saw my vision and where I was wanting to go with this online business. And some people just stayed in the background, and that's okay because not everyone is going to get where you're trying to go. And I think we waste so much energy and time and effort caring about what other people think of us. If you are a busy person like me, I have a pretty full on schedule. I'm also a planner, so I like to plan things in advance, and this just means that I have to really protect my time and really protect my energy because I have specific things that I want to focus on, like building a brand, building my business, making content, and also like working on my podcast that I have right now. Also, like, you really have to protect your peace, especially if you're trying to build something for yourself. Like, I started this podcast because I wanted to showcase and basically talk about how I'm trying to build my dream life and a life on my own terms. And in saying this, you really don't have time to try and fix and mend what you can't control, and that includes other people. So, if you are listening to this, you really have to ask yourself, what are the things you can control and what are the things that you can't? So, the things that you can't control are people's opinions, what they do, and also what they say about you. And in terms of like my online business, I've always told myself people aren't going to pay my bills. So, why do I care what people think? And I think it was Jay Shetty that said this, but people are going to judge you anyway. So, you might as well do what you want. People are going to judge you if you start your podcast. People are going to judge you if you don't start your podcast. People are going to judge you if you start a business, and people are going to judge you if you don't start a business. So the biggest thing is just literally do what you want and don't care about what other people think. There was one time where I was working at my old job and I just started my online business. So I was still learning the ins and outs and all the small details, and someone saw my content on social media and told the whole crew that I was trying to be an influencer. And I think the biggest thing with being an online digital business owner is that it can come out like that because obviously we produce content and all the things. But I didn't really know how to go about it when they started talking about me and I was right in front of them and I was just laughing it off, joking around. But now I'm actually really proud. Like, I have an online digital business. I've grown it to nearly 5 figures in the online space. I've earned multiple 4-figure paydays here. And yeah, it's a legitimate business. So I would ask someone, what do you have as a side hustle? And sometimes they would get really humbled by that. And I would also say, like, if you want to learn, I can always mentor you. I can always send you something if you want to learn more about it. But half the time they're just pretty skeptical, and that's why I'm making episodes on my online business as well for people to try and get to know what the concept is really all about. I've talked about whether someone will support you in the things that you do. And another big thing for me is, like, if you want to know who your real friends are, start something for yourself. Start a business or even start a podcast, because you will really know who the people are that support you. Some people will see it and some people won't. Some people will just be in the background and not really say anything, not really judge, but they're also not liking or commenting or sharing, which is like, why aren't you doing that? Because if they're truly your friend, then they're going to want to support you no matter what you do. And I think also, like, we tend to support big celebrities, and these people don't even know we exist. So why don't we support the people that we do know in real life who are trying to make things for themselves? Something else that you can't control is basically like the past. It's already happened and you can't change anything. The only thing you can change and the only thing you can take from it is basically take the lessons, look at the challenges as like opportunities to see what you can do next. Because it's literally like driving. You're not looking at the review mirror the entire time because you're literally going to crash. You need to look at what's ahead of you and look at where you're going next, because that's how you know where you're going to steer and the direction you're going towards. Other things you can't control include delays, rejections, and also challenges. Obviously, we don't plan for these things to happen, and we just get hit with them all the time, and that's how you know life's not perfect. It's never going to be just ups, it's always going to be ups and downs, and we really have to learn from these things. And like I've mentioned, I think in my first introductory episode, sometimes God's rejection is not a rejection, it's just a redirection. So, a lot of the things that happen in your life that you didn't expect will end up being a redirection, but at the time it's so big and you just feel like it's the biggest rejection in the world. But you'll be glad that it didn't happen for a reason and that your life pivoted in a different direction. Now let's talk about the things that you can control. You can control your attitude and what you think about a certain situation. So you can control what you do as well and how you look at things, the perspective on things. And that's why I've also started listening to podcasts. Like, they're my favorite thing in the world. If I am cleaning up, washing the dishes, or even, you know, going for a walk and I'm out and about, I love to listen to podcasts. Instead of listening to music, I tend to listen to more podcasts now based on self growth, self development, business, but also like life and navigating my 20s in general. And those are basically the biggest resources and how I've learnt to handle how I deal with things better, because I know that I didn't handle things that good in the past, but that's how you grow and that's how you learn as a person. And of course, you're constantly growing. You're not going to be the same person that you were like 6 months from now or like a year from now. But looking back at yourself like a year ago, you probably think that you've changed so much. And that is because you're never going to be the same person year and year on out. Another thing that you can control is how much effort and time you put into something, whether this is a business and also a relationship or a friendship. Another one is also how you talk to yourself and your mindset. So, like I said, I've listened to a lot of podcasts, but also a lot of audiobooks as well while I'm about out and about doing stuff. And I think the biggest thing for me is just like knowing where I need to improve on and humbling myself and all of those things, because nobody is perfect and we really need to learn on like accountability and where we can improve as a person in general. Other things that you can focus on include how consistent you are with the habits and the goals that you want to achieve. So, calling yourself out if you are really putting in the work, because obviously, if you show up every day and you put in the reps every single day, then eventually the results will come. But if you really don't, then you just have to call yourself out and really pivot where you are right now. And the biggest thing that I want to say for the things that you can control is how you react when things don't necessarily go your way. Like I said earlier, I'm one of the biggest planners out of my friends, and I will literally have something planned 2 weeks, a month, and even 4 months in advance from now. And this is because if it's not in the calendar, then it's getting forgotten. So before, when things didn't go my way, I definitely had a negative reaction to it. But I'm definitely learning now that things won't go your way all the time, if not 90% of the time. And this is because, like I said, life can definitely throw you some challenges and throw things at you that you will not expect. So I think just like going with the flow and then analyzing where you can improve, what things you can control, and the things you can do about it. If you are listening to this and you are a people pleaser like me, just take a second and think, what are the things you can control and the things that you can't? And what are the things that were never meant to be your responsibility, anyways, but you feel like you're always taking accountability for those things? If you just put all that time, effort, and energy that you are putting on other people and other people's expectations and expectations from other people into your own thing, into your own side hobby, into your own side hustle, and even your business, then you can definitely grow so much within yourself. The other thing that I loved about this book is like the way that she presents real life examples so that people can actually relate no matter how old they are or where they are from. And this includes applying the let them theory in real life and also like creating the boundaries that you need. So, for example, if you need to set boundaries for yourself with friendships and even relationships, then you need to do so without having guilt. And again, as a people pleaser, as a recovering people pleaser, I can definitely relate to this. I had to really think about what I needed most in order to protect my peace and to protect my energy because, like I said, I'm a pretty busy person. I work night shifts and I'm also trying to balance having an online business and having this side project as my podcast, but also taking care of myself and hanging out with my partner, my family, and friends. So I definitely don't have time for drama. I definitely don't have time for people who don't have time for me. And I think the biggest thing is setting boundaries when you need to, because sometimes that is just how it has to be. Another example is if you're having kind of an argument with someone, or if someone disagrees with something that you have to say, you don't always have to be the one to try and prove your point. And again, you don't always have to be proving yourself and needing other people to see your perspective and where you are coming from. Because if they truly wanted to hear you out, then they would listen to you and they wouldn't have to argue with you in the first place. But I think this is just the different personalities that come in with different relationships and the different types of friendships that there is out there. I can also relate this to like expecting things from certain people, whether they're your friends or whether they're your business partners. Like if you're expecting things and specific things from certain people, then you definitely can verbalize that. Other times you literally just need to say, let them and let me, pivot and go off where I am at the moment and see where I can go from here. In the book, she also talks a lot about adult friendships, how to create new ones, and also talking about the great scattering. So it is basically when you have just come out of university and everyone goes off into their own lives. And that is basically the part of life where I am at the moment. Hence why I started this podcast, to help navigate my 20s with it. But I think in the future I will do a full episode on this because it's such a big topic, especially for me and the current chapter that I'm in. My favorite part is just the let me era because it allows you to choose yourself finally. And for people who are recovering people pleasers, then this is definitely the boundary that you need to set, where you literally have to choose yourself for once. You have to choose the things that you want to do. You have to choose the peace that you want to protect, the energy that you want to protect, and also the things that you want to save your time for, because not all things are meant for you and not all things are worth your time. It also allows you to make authentic decisions for yourself and put yourself first before others. And sometimes you really just need to put yourself first rather than deciding based on other people's values, opinions, and also what they have to say about you in general. Mel also emphasizes in the book that other people will judge you anyways, and I mentioned this earlier because nobody cares what you do, so you might as well just do what you want to do. And you really just need to work on the internal validation, and the validation that you crave from other people is actually the validation that you crave internally. So this requires a lot of self-growth, self-development, and I've also needed to work a lot on this, especially in the past 2 years. I've been able to read up more on it, hence why I started reading this book, and also listen to a lot of self-growth podcasts as well. So just to end this episode, I just want to pretty much summarize everything that I said. Sometimes letting go can be the strongest move that you can make, because you're allowing yourself to just let people be and let them say what they want to say instead of trying to control the things that you can't control. Also, like trying to micromanage people in general is so draining because it just ends up with you being exhausted in the end, and trying to make people happy, trying to please them just ends up with you, being on the other side and really wondering what else you could have done when all you could have done was just step back and take yourself out of the equation. Also, like having the fear of judgment or what other people think, especially on social media nowadays, if you are a content creator or even a podcaster. But people can definitely learn and get inspired by you if you put yourself out there. One of the main reasons why I started this podcast was because I just saw a lot of people, starting one for themselves as well. And it was finally time that I did, because I was pondering on this idea of starting one for literally 2 years now. And I think the biggest takeaway for me is just like knowing that you can still care about things, you can still care about people, but also take care of yourself at the same time by putting up the boundaries that you need to put up, and also detaching from specific things, whether this is in friendships or even professional relationships like in business partners or even people that you work with. And lastly, shifting this external validation to really discovering what you need from yourself, and what it is that you truly seek in other people is what you truly seek from yourself. So that is basically a wrap for today's episode. There were so many things that I wanted to say in this episode, but I'm sure I will cover the detailed things in future episodes, and literally just let people be and let yourself do what you need to do, even if that means distance yourself or cut them off. So yes, the biggest takeaway is just let people do what they want to do and let you take back what you need to take back. Reclaim your power on how you respond to things and how you act towards certain situations, certain scenarios, and also towards certain people. Because at the end of the day, the people who truly care about you will get you, they will understand you, and they will support you and be there for you. Put your boundaries up and focus on what truly matters, and that is basically taking care of yourself, and put your energy and put your peace towards the things that truly matter. Sometimes you don't need to fight for validation, you just need to choose you, and you just need to choose peace. And the biggest thing is, remember that boundaries are just self-respect. So respect yourself enough to put these up for other people. The core messages from the let them theory is basically, you lose power trying to control other people, but letting go isn't weakness. It's actually wisdom and taking your power back. Also, with having boundaries, protecting your energy is self-respect. Saying no is how you say yes to yourself. People will judge you no matter what you do, and people will talk about you no matter what you do. So let them misunderstand you and keep building. Focus on what you can control and let me do my part. The rest will follow. Not everyone grows with you, so let them take their own path and let yourself take your own path and where you need to go. And lastly, peace is power. Protect your peace and energy, because if it costs you your peace, it's too expensive. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. This is the Clarity Room podcast, and I'm your host, Aline Claire. If you want to watch the full video of these episodes, make sure to follow my YouTube channel, The Clarity Room Podcast. And if you want to learn a little bit more about my online business and how you can start your own side hustle using social media, then my socials will be in the show notes below. Connect with me if you want to learn more. Otherwise, I will see you guys in my next episode. Bye guys, have a good day. And remember that nothing changes if nothing changes.